Alright, welcome everybody to another mixing video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be looking at a brand new plugin that actually just came out today, which is The Monster by Slate Digital. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that I love all the Slate Digital plugins. And this is actually something I've been waiting for a long time, because if you know the virtual mix rack, you'll know that it comes with the FG116 or 116, however you prefer. And this is an 1176 emulation. But the only thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't have the famous all buttons mode. And if you're familiar with an 1176, you know that if you press all the buttons in, you can get this sort of extreme compression mode that introduces some nice distortion. And what they did was they made a separate module just for that sound. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to play a track that I had originally used a UAD 1176 with all buttons mode on a mono drum room. And what I'm going to do is I'll start with the UAD one actually, and I'll bypass it, go to the Monster, do a couple A-B shootouts there. Not necessarily shootout, because it's kind of, you can't really compare this and this. It's a similar sound, but the thing about any 1176, even the hardware ones, you could have two Blue Stripe 1176s and they're going to sound different. So it's not really fair to say that it's like a shootout, but just to get an idea of, you can see that this is doing sort of the same thing as what this one is. So I'll go back and forth, and then actually on this mix, I found out that if you use them together, it sounds really, really cool. So we'll listen to that too. So moving right along, we'll listen to the drum room and solo, and then we'll listen to it in the track after. So starting with the UAD. Okay, I think that's enough for now. So as you can hear, they do a very similar job. The Monster might have been adding a little bit of gain, it might have been just a little bit louder, but you can hear that the compression is pretty similar. And a nice thing about the Monster is it has this high pass filter, which, on your regular 1176 you don't have that. So the low end doesn't trigger it as much, and this I think it's high frequency detection is what this stands for. What that is sometimes when you use the all buttons mode or any heavy compression on a room mic, those cymbals start to be kind of splashy. So you can kind of tame the high end with this, is what that is. And then punch, well, you can guess what punch is. And for me, on any 1176, I like a slow attack and a fast release, because the slow attack is still pretty fast, but it lets the transients through a little more, and it just helps make it more punchy. So you can see I've set them up pretty similarly, just using the extra features here. And there's a mix knob, which is great, because otherwise you might have to do it on a bus or something, and it's just kind of a parallel compression built right in, which is really awesome. Slate Digital is really, really good about adding like really useful features that a lot of companies don't incorporate. Even though this is essentially an analog emulation, they take it a step further and say, how can we make this great hardware more efficient? So that's one thing that I really love about Slate Digital. Like kind of like here with the 1073, they add an extra band, which I end up using like 9 times out of 10. So yeah, Slate Digital always is thinking ahead like that, and it's really great. So when you hear them both together, man, it's really, really like explosive, and that kick and snare just stands out. So one last thing is I'm just gonna do the same kind of A, B, and then both of them on in the track. Okay, so mind that it's gonna be a loop, so it might get a little annoying. So bear with me on that. But yeah, let's listen to the drums in the track, and I think you'll really notice that kick and snare just pushing through. So here we go.
Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I've been traveling. Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I've been traveling. Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I've been traveling. Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I've been traveling. Here we are. I'm off again, going through this world, I'm traveling. Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I'm traveling. Here we are, when I'm off again, going through this world, I'm traveling. I done seen some things before I've learned my lesson. I know your time seems to leave. The only way I know to give you what you need, so please hold on tight. You're on the mind, for you I will but now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Ooh, 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 oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. We are singing this.
So wow, that is just that's a great plugin. And the thing about it too is if you have Virtual Mix Rack, this plugin is absolutely free. I don't know if it's free if you don't already have the Virtual Mix Rack, but I know that if you have VMR, this is for sure free. And this plugin is just, it's great. I mean, to me it's just as good as this 1176 plugin, which I bought for $100, and that's during a sale, Granted, you get 3 of these, but still, the monster is free, and it's just as good or maybe even better than the UAD one. Steven Slate just continues to put out great stuff, and honestly, I want to own everything that he makes, and I plan to. I don't subscribe to the mix or his bundle that he has, where you get everything, because I really don't want to have to pay a subscription fee. But I do already own quite a bit of his plugins, and I intend to buy the rest of them. So that's it for today. I hope that this was a good explanation of what this plugin does. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I didn't look at a manual or anything, just because, it kind of explains itself. And if you're familiar with the all buttons mode, you know what kind of sound this is used for. And you could put it on other things besides drum rooms, but drum room is pretty much what it's most famously used on. So thank you so much, Steven Slate. Thank you everybody who was watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it because you heard dogs barking in the back or my sister baking a cake, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. And if you really enjoyed this, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.